I just met with a client who flew into White Rock after watching some of my videos, and they left completely underwhelmed. They've been dreaming about living by the beach, the peace, the charm, the lifestyle. But when they got here, it wasn't what they expected, and they're not the only ones who felt that way. Now, don't get me wrong, I love White Rock. I live here, I work here, and I genuinely think it's one of the most special places in the entire Lower Mainland. But it turns out that it's simply not for everyone. In this video, I'm sharing real feedback I've heard straight from actual buyers who came to town and walked away disappointed. These are things that I never really considered until clients started pointing them out. So if you're thinking about moving to White Rock, this is the video I wish more people got to see before packing their bags to come pay us a visit. So if that all sounds good, let's jump into it right now. You only get one chance to buy or sell your next home. Let's get it right. Worth mentioning, my name is Darren, a local realtor serving the White Rock and Surrey area since 2007, helping hundreds and hundreds of people just like you, including many who we've met first here on this very YouTube channel. If you're thinking about making a move, in fact, you can book a time to speak directly with me in the description below of this video. So here's the story. This client actually found me through this very YouTube channel. They were living in another part of North America, in fact, a part of the world that most of us would dream of to even holiday in, but they were ready for a change. They were Canadian citizens looking to get back to Canada, and they wanted to come back to Canada to slow down, to live by the ocean, and also find a real sense of community. After watching a bunch of my very own videos, they were absolutely sold on the area, like literally convinced out of all the places in Canada, this was it. White Rock looked like the dream, and it looked like it checked every single box. But when they finally came to visit, they were honestly underwhelmed. That meeting, it really stuck with me because we made a ton of videos showing both the good and the bad about White Rock, but hearing their experience, it gave me a new perspective, one that I hadn't really considered before. Now, I want to be very clear here. Most locals actually dream of living here one day, so their reaction felt a little unaligned, but it was honest, and they're not alone in this. So in this video, I want to share not just their reasons for changing their plans, but also a few other things I've heard from buyers over the years, especially those coming from either out of town or overseas. And even though I'm clearly going to throw a little shade at White Rock today in this video, I do help people buy homes here all the time and across the entire South Surrey and Fraser Valley. But the truth is, my job isn't to sell you on one neighborhood. It's to help you find a home and a lifestyle that actually fit. So that means showing you the full picture, even when it's not flattering. If White Rock ends up being your dream spot, awesome. I know it inside out. But if it's not quite the vibe that you expected, I'll walk you through some amazing alternatives in other places like South Surrey, Cloverdale, or even Langley. You won't waste time, you'll avoid buyer's remorse, and you'll have a local guide who actually lives here and who knows the difference between Instagram and real life. Okay, so let's start with the beach, because this is where expectation versus reality really hit the hardest. The couple I mentioned were coming from a coastal vacation style lifestyle. So when they saw the drone shots of White Rock, the pier, the promenade, the oceanfront dining, they pictured a beach town with a vibe, like paddleboarding, live music, outdoor energy all year round. And yes, on a sunny summer day, White Rock Beach feels magical. The beach is packed, patios are buzzing, the sunsets are unbelievable, but that's also a little bit seasonal. For most of the year, the beach is quiet, but that wasn't even their biggest issue. The real surprise was actually just the type of beach. If you're picturing soft sand, swap that out for a rocky shoreline, mud flats, and a tide that goes out shockingly far. It changes the whole experience, and it's not always the prettiest sight. And you're gonna wanna add in the strong smell of sun-drenched tide pools, and it can be a bit of a sensory surprise, especially if you came chasing views in a vibrant beach lifestyle. And the water here, it's cold. Not many people swim here. There's no surf scene, no beach volleyball tournaments. It's not Tofino, and it's definitely not Santa Monica. So for people chasing that kind of year-round coastal lifestyle, it can be a big letdown. White Rock is peaceful, it's scenic, it's relaxing, but it's not a beach town in the way that people often imagine it. To be frank, this is Canada and British Columbia, and it looks exactly like what British Columbia beaches and shoreline look like. So if you're coming from another part of the world where you also live near a beach, or you've visited other beach locations in the world, world, you might have to change your perspective a little bit on what to expect when you arrive here. This next one really shocks out-of-towners, and that's just how expensive White Rock actually is and what you actually get for your money. So what do I mean by this? Well, if you've been hanging around this channel for some time, you already know that White Rock is one of the priciest markets in the Lower Mainland. When you're shopping in that $1.5 to $2 million range, you probably would expect newer builds, open layouts, modern finishes, really something that's kind of turnkey, I guess. But in reality, much of the housing stock in White Rock and South Surrey is older. Think 1980s split level homes that haven't been touched in decades. And sure, there are some stunning custom builds and amazing view homes, but they're not the normal and they come with serious price tags. They're kind of like the exception, not the rule for White Rock. And this isn't just limited to detached homes. Even townhomes and condos come with compromises. The very best locations, the best land, the walkable ocean view stuff was built out decades ago. So most of the newer developments, they're tucked into some less than ideal spots, close to power lines, on busy roads, or way out from amenities. And yet the price tag is still pretty premium. If you're local, maybe this feels normal, maybe from somewhere else in the Lower Mainland. But if you're coming from out of the province or even other parts of BC, the sticker shock is still real. And it's not just the cost, it's the value mismatch. For the same price, you could get a newer home with more space in places like Surrey or on Vancouver Island or in the Okanagan. The homes here aren't bad, but there's a real gap between what people expect and what they actually find when they show up. Another thing that I hear from buyers, especially folks moving from Vancouver, Burnaby, or Richmond, is that White Rock can feel a little bit disconnected. Technically, we're still in Metro Vancouver, but let's be real. When you're down here, especially on a rainy night, it feels like its own little world. If you're commuting regularly into the city, that drive up Highway 99 gets old real fast. The transit options are pretty limited, and even something simple like meeting friends across the Fraser River can start to feel like a trek. It's not just about the distance though. There's also a psychological separation here as well. Once you're down here, especially at night, it's a little sleepy. It gets a little quiet. It's peaceful. Village-like. Some people love that, but others, they feel cut off. And that ties into another surprise for people, that White Rock is a little sleepier than it looks online. On YouTube, and I'm guilty of this, and Instagram, if you're not following our Instagram channel, check that out as well. We got little snippets and tidbits about what's going on out here. Especially in the summer, it looks lively, beach energy, live music, full patios, and yes, we have all of that, but it's seasonal. For most of the year, it's slower, quieter, and much more laid back. Businesses close early, nightlife is limited, events are few and far between, and if you're into the beach walks and slow mornings, it's absolutely perfect. But if you want buzz and action year-round, it can feel a little underwhelming. For retirees or remote workers, this lifestyle is ideal. But if you're someone who craves energy, connection, and city access, White Rock might feel a little too far removed. Now, again, I want to be super clear here. Most people love White Rock. I love it. And there's a reason it's one of the most desired spots in the Lower Mainland. But I think it's important to hear perspectives that challenge your assumptions. So before you make a move, before you pack your bags to come visit, you need to ask yourself, is it the lifestyle, the scenery, or just the idea of the beach town that's really pulling you here? Because those aren't always the same thing. Now, we've got a full playlist on the channel that breaks down the good, the bad, and everything in between about living in White Rock. And if you're serious about moving here, you're definitely going to want to check that out. And hey, listen, if I haven't convinced you that White Rock is a terrible place to live, that's good, because it's not. It just isn't the right fit for everyone. If you're still curious, you should absolutely grab a copy of our White Rock South Surrey community guide. It's made for home buyers just like you, and it's packed with our top neighborhood picks, local dining favorites, and a bit of history, and even some exclusive discounts from local shops. You'll find the link to download that in the description of this video below. And if you're still wondering what it's really like to live in White Rock, especially if you need to travel into the city for work or fun, well, that's exactly what we covered in the video coming up next. It's a full-on breakdown about commuting, accessibility, and how connected or disconnected White Rock really is. That video is coming up next, and I think it's got some surprises in there for you, so I'll see you over there coming up right now. Are you wondering if living in White Rock or South Surrey means saying goodbye to everything that makes Vancouver so incredible? Maybe you're picturing long, miserable commutes, hours stuck in traffic, or thinking, am I just too far from all of the action? It's a totally fair question, and the good news is that the answer might surprise you.